So we'll move on. I mean, the main event of the evening is our stars of the show, and we'll have them up just in a minute or two to do a panel session with them and let you grill the bejesus out of them shortly. But just in terms of kind of setting the scene a little bit, I'll just run through a few things first to give you guys a bit of a flavour of what we've kind of been up to for the past 12 months. As John says, it's just over 12 months we've been running now. And a quick background on the project. I mean, you know, what Phelim's saying is actually quite important to us as well, because that's where the funding for the project came from as well, as European Union. So, you know, we're quite keen that something follows along legacy-wise. It's SRDP money, so it's Pillar 2, it's the rural development money that was put forward for the project. And the money put forward is all going into the running costs of the project. These poor individuals get none of it. It's all used in the actual running of the project as opposed to actually being put towards the farmers. So the farmers get regular contact from myself and Declan. We're on farm once a week, every couple of weeks, give or take, running updates, crunching numbers, seeing what's going on, chucking out another set of bright ideas, upsetting them. It's great fun doing that. And then running away and hoping that by the time you get back the next time they've done something. And generally they've been pretty good. I'll give them that. They've all been fairly well behaved. So, you know, report card from us has been full marks for them. But just the other bit also in terms of what we've been up to is the project's also got a series of focus groups running. And we did have a plan to have a heap of meetings done by now. But it turns out that in the middle of a piddling wet harvest, nobody really wants to speak to us. So we've left the meetings be quiet. And the next couple of weeks we're kicking off again with the meetings after that and get things moving on from there. So all bar one of the groups have met once, some of them have met twice. As I say, we'll kick off the winter programme shortly. Now the plan is that we will close the membership down at some point. At the moment we'll keep it open until the beginning of the year, because once you get past a certain stage, you know, bringing new folk into a group dynamic doesn't kind of change the dynamic of the group, doesn't quite work the same. And we're trying to get a lot of sharing going on through the groups and getting information shared across folk. So focus groups, if anybody's interested in being involved, please do come forward and let us know tonight and we'll put your name down. We've got a variety of different groups that you can come forward for. So the focus farms. I saw that just the other day and I just thought I would stick it up there as a bit of a thought. But probably one of the main things they were chosen for was, where is it? This, most adaptable to change. They've all been really good at actually taking the ideas and rolling with it. And really from what Phelim's saying, it's well worth considering this, that really, it is a question of survival really, keeping these businesses rolling, and being adaptable to change is what will keep you there. So just a quick run through, I'll start in the north and travel kind of southish as I run you through the farms. So, starting in Caithness, we've got Mark and Shona Mackay, Sophie and Katie, the kids. Just shy of 370 hectares, 170 suckler cows. And one of the key things, so should we just jump back a second before I just jump on this, is Kirsten Williams, who was Kirsten? She was here earlier on. Well, this is, yeah. Kirsten came out with us at the start of the project because what we wanted to do was have somebody independent taking the benchmarking data from each of the farms, and that way there's a level of independence, there's a fresh set of eyes on it, and prepared some lovely whole farm reviews that allowed us to give us some nice big sticks to go and beat the guys with, which was fine handy. But I mean, in terms of what we've got out of these reports, it's well worth doing. You can get funding for them still. Highly recommend it. It really does give you something new to go and look at the business and just opens your eyes. But again, it's just using the information that's on farm and pushing things on with just drawing it all out. So one of the key things we found was to actually, and to varying degrees, all of our farms need to do this, push output. You know, it's contrary to what you were saying, Andrew, but well, I'm a contrary sort of individual anyway, so it suits me to be contrary, but we actually need to push our output up. If support's going to go down, and most of the guys are making pretty good gross margins, it's the fixed cost that's killing it. Well, fixed costs They're fixed. Within reason. Yes, there's flexibility within them, but they are fixed within reason. So if we can push up output, we can work and counter that reduction in support. And pushing the rotation, the utilisation of grass. So one of the things that we did, marked a field just out in front of the house, split it into, well, 2 fields and split them into 3 fields, made 2 fields into 3 fields, and just set up a loose rotation, cows and calves. Stocking rate in that field this year was double what it was last year, over the course of the grazing season. Did so well that in actual fact, there's 50 acre of grazing not used. So we're looking at really pushing output now. Well, it was used later on in the season, but it was it was free, wasn't it? It was surplus of requirements. And the other thing, we've got one of these wonderful environmental schemes that the European Union wants to go to now as well. So silage quality suffered quite badly with the fact that cutting date was late to suit the bird scheme. And it was just what we did this year was we actually held the grass back. I mean, basically there was more grass here than there was in the silage fields by the time we had to close them off at the beginning of April. And that really held the grass back. By the time it got a chance to start growing, shot forward, and basically the improvement in quality because we held it back is worth about quarter kilo again a day on his young beasts when you look at the energy level and the intake potential on the silage. So it was a significant jump forward in what's available with it. So that's Mark and showing it. Then we come to the Ducats, Arthur, Scott, and you missed out the video, Gemma, Amy, Muriel, the whole family. It's a family outfit. At Crana, 165 hectares, give or take, 170 suckler cows, 230 ewes. So one of the things we looked at there was increasing the ewe numbers. And the other thing is output per hectare. It's one of the smaller farms in the project. So the land base is only what they've got. So the more we can extract out of that land base, you know, renting ground in's another opportunity, but realistically we can screw as much as we can out of the land base they currently have. That makes a significant effect within the business. So they split a field up into 4 and ran some ewes and lambs through it this year. And on rotational grazing, and they also took 10 cows and 28 bales of silage before we actually get the grass in control. Used no more fertiliser as last year, but produced 1.3 tonne of live weight gain. Now, that's worth about £2,000 a hectare. If you're wanting barley to do that, you're looking at needing something like 10 tonne an acre and £200 a tonne before you can get to that. Or maybe where straw's going this year, it might still get to that yet. But, you know, realistically, that is a serious output per hectare. Now, there is a cost to go against that. We haven't finished running those numbers through yet. But £2,000 a hectare, that is just awesome numbers. Since it did so well, went out and bought a heap more ewes, or a heap more gimmers to bring into ewes this year. So we just about had 300 for lambing this year, or this incoming year. The other thing was spring calving, just calving a little bit too early for grass. Push spring calving back a fortnight. So when the cows, as I said earlier, the cows need that rise in plain nutrition coming up to bulling time. And also, to get the cow to milk all season, you want it to peak her lactation as high as possible. Lactation peaks 50, 60, 70 days. So if you haven't driven that peak as high as you can, after that, it's only doing one thing. And it'll do it either, it'll be the same shape of curve, it'll just be higher or lower. So if you can push that lactation curve a bit higher, we'll get more milk into calves, better quality milk into calves, better calf growth from the cheapest feed that's got in the farm. So spring calf will be back, and also we've got some dates on the calendar. And the bulls came out on the dates, give or take? Getting near it. So just getting all these things in control. We've got a Duffy's family, Andy and Max and Debs and Becca and the other pair as well, who are no here. up at Tom and Tool. So he's got a fair few hectares, but at the same time it's all mamba. Do you know what mamba is? Miles and miles, they're all. 95 suckle cows, 630 ewes. Well, Creakin really was a farm where we saw the fixed costs were crippling the business, but at the same time, couldn't really cut them much. So if you can't cut the fixed costs, all you can really do is get more output to dilute them. So trying to push output up, one of the things was plan for 20 hill cows. We're not quite there yet, but you're picking away, aren't you? And basically we'll put the cows onto the hill. There'll be nice little hairy things that'll break the grass up, break that hill up, let better grasses come through. The better grasses come through, we'll push the ewes up, and the whole thing will work in a cycle. Going back to what was done however many years ago, we'll go back to hill cows and really break that ground up. Soil fertility is another thing struggling on the farm. So Andy's lashed on 200 tonne of lime in the past year, and that's really improved the utilisation of the fertilisers. Went on rotational, didn't split any fields up for a start, but still went to rotational grazing by saying that, right, there's 4 fields, and we just made a big enough batch of autumn cows and calves to work through that. So rotational grazing doesn't have to be about splitting fields up. It can also be about actually getting enough animals onto the field and just working the size of fields you've got and going around with that. And Andy was asked, delighted with it. He stuck another fence up, split his silage parks into 3, or took 3 silage parks and split them into 6. And the weather lambs are now running around it. In fact, they're off now tupping ewes up. Did the tupping ewes home yet for there? Aye. So, and lambs off preserve ewe condition. So, really trying to drive output for deficits. Webster's, Allison and Shea. Afford there, 250 hectares, 85 suckler cows. Sell somewhere in the region of 30 heifers with calves at foot a year, and 170 ewes. So, one of the things we looked at early in the season was, again, intensifying at home. You know, there's no much point in buying somebody else's acres in when we can try and do more of what we've got at home. So we didn't take any rented grazing out and about, which we reckon was worth in about £2,000 in terms of saved costs, and took that money and stuck it into lime to get better utilisation of fertiliser at home. And that really has made a big difference on the grass. Some of the fields up the top are, well, I'm not sure about the cow story, but we'll maybe bring that out yet. But certainly you can see the grass has improved quite markedly just by getting that lime on there and getting it working again. One of the things we did was split the in-lamb ewes up, took the singles off, and split right at the feed, which saved about another £800. And again, output per hectare, dilute the cost down. We really need to dilute these costs. It is what it is, and try and reduce that cost reduction. Then we've got Andrew and Mark Biffin, and the rest of the family as well, out at Ellen. So we went out there to start with the ewe flock. The 300 ewes was quite a new venture to the farm. We'd just been building up numbers, and there was quite a lot of half-bred ewes in the system. Really good big ewes, big strong ewes that suited an indoor lambing system, but they're looking to be an outdoor lambing system. So great ewes, but off they went and replaced with some mules, more suited to outdoor lambing, and get a bit more output out of the sheep. You know, they sort of came along as a sort of a Cinderella enterprise, Andrew, sort of for a start, and now they're starting to make a sort of a significant contribution. So the more we can do for them, the better. Going back to what I said earlier on, you know, time. One of the things we noticed in the spring was the poor Biffins were running hard to keep up. They were lambing ewes, they were sowing a lot of spring grain. So although this project is very much a livestock focused project, we still chuck a few ideas about it in the rest of the business as well, and you know, push a bit more winter cereals, so just give it more time in the spring, make life a bit easier, take a bit of pressure off. And the real big thing for our lads was 3 cuts of silage. we sat there and talked about it in the springtime, and Andrew made what can only be described as rocket fuel. It was cut late May into the pit, then cut again July and into the pit, and then cut again August, and into bales because we ran out of room in the pits. But basically that stuff, again on intake factor and all that, and energy, is worth, if you just were feeding ad lib silage alone, it's worth about a £1/4 kilo a gain on a 300 kilo beast a day. You know, when you think about what that would be in barley terms, you know, that's a lot of feed value improvement. Excuse me. Now the beauty of it was that Andrew was already doing ammonia straw for his cows, so we didn't have to worry about controlling cow condition. That's already taken care of. You know, feeding good quality silage to dry cows isn't always the greatest idea, unless you can control it. So we've got that underhand. And calving spread was one of the things we identified here. So we've identified dates again, and we're splitting. We're going to make 2 herds rather than 1 herd, and that way. But at the same time, ideally work back to a spring calving herd. So over time, the back end calving herd will just, as a new heifer comes into the spring herd, a back end beast will go out, and we'll just work it down, dwindle it down. So that's the Biffins. And then last but not least, we've got the Gammies, Andrew and Jim up the back, the rest of the family. So 130 hectares down at Lawrence-Kirk. Deep red clay, real proper Mearns land. And we walked across the farm in February and went, oh hell, turn some cattle out here, this is awesome, there's grass everywhere, it's looking great. And it peed with rain for a while, so that kind of knackered that idea. But we got out 6 weeks earlier this year. We selected the heifers that were the lightest cattle on the farm. 6 weeks earlier we got out, and we take the cost of feeding, the bedding, time, everything else. I knocked £1,500 off the cost of the winter. And the cows came out earlier as well, £1,200. And the cows went on to rotation. Now, as I say, in February we thought we'll get out early, and then the ground got wet, but the grass didn't stop growing. So by the time we did actually get onto it, the grass was well up on us. So we actually took, Andrew split 2 fields into 5, and we took 2 of those sections, we split 2 fields into 5 for the rotational grazing, we took 2 of those sections for making the silage. So we took 2 sections out as silage to get better quality silage and to control the grass and to make sure it doesn't get out of control. And last year's silage was 9.5 ME, this year's silage is 12 ME. Now on that one, I haven't actually run the numbers on growth rate, but that's beyond what the other lads have done. That'll be 0.33 of a kilo a day lift in live weight gain just from ad lib silage. Significant lifting potential. The flip of that is Andrew didn't have a dry cow plan at that stage. They were all fed silage. So done a heap of ammonia straw this year, which before MD said they would budget it for that in the springtime, and it's Andrew's own straw, so we've gone out of jail free with that one, thank God. But that's going to allow us to control the cows, keep the condition off them, get them bled down for calving, and then keep them going. So over the course of the project, we want to push the cow numbers up and maximise that grass utilisation. There's a lot of work was done by Andrew in the spring to break up compaction. From one of the first times we were there, he was talking about, you know, we'll go out and we'll do a bit of subsoiling because the farm was compacted. So we got a spade and we went and we had a dig. We found that everything was there, not even 6 inches. All the compaction was there. So most of the fields have been run with a spade roller, you know, just with the spades on the roller. And the difference it's made is phenomenal. Grass growth has gone through the roof, and well, we'll talk about that after. So, yeah, so that's the run of the guys. And in a lot of the press releases, we said that we set ourselves some ambitious targets, and I think we have set some pretty ambitious targets. Declan and I, and Kieran, who's hiding out the back there, we debated long and hard over these, especially the calving interval one, to get to every cow calving 365 days. Me and him nearly counted blows over it, but we got there in the end. He was right. I was being pragmatic. He was being ambitious. So this is what we are aiming to do with these guys by the end of the project. And by the end of the project, that's just really the start. Because realistically, if you look at a cow herd, you make changes today. You know, if you make changes to a breeding pattern now, you're looking at 3 to 4 years before you really start seeing the effect. And if it's new heifers, well, geez, you're looking even longer for that system to start turning around. So what we'll do now is we'll get you ready? No? You'll be fine, come on up. We'll get the guys to come up and do a wee panel session. You can all grill them as what's going on. That was Declan's idea.